It was a big fight weekend, and everybody's talking about the big fight that happened. Of course, you know what we're talking about. Talking about McGregor, we're talking about Big Money Mayweather. A lot of people are chatting about it today, and we invite you to grab a beer and join our conversation right here on The Brew. And it was a big weekend for Las Vegas. A lot of money took place, and it was only, about 1,000 steps away from my little bro Joel sitting over there on his couch. In my best anchor voice, Joel, what's the perspective in Las Vegas?
The perspective is the fight was really good. It brought $120 million into the casinos just in gambling, not to mention tourism.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good for the city. Really good. It took over the world. It was the #1 hashtag for a little while.
Yeah.
Big time fight. Boom, crossed over into pop culture. Took MMA and boxing to a new level that they've never crossed over to before.
Mm-hmm.
It's all good.
Well, let me ask you this. Did you watch? Obviously.
I did, yeah.
Ask me if I did.
Joe didn't.
Nope. I was drinking on the Atlantic City Boardwalk, to be honest. But, of course, it's all over social media. I know all about it. I mean, come on. Money Mayweather won in 10 rounds. You know, we got a 40-year-old guy taking down a 29-year-old MMA guy. What did you think about that? Because I was reading some things on social media that they were saying perhaps
it's
they
like
stopped
Joe
the fight
versus
early.
me.
Yeah, that'll never happen, by the way. But what do you think? Because I was reading some things on social media. They were saying that perhaps the fight was stopped early. I don't know if I agree with that.
No, it wasn't stopped early.
I asked the question because I read ESPN is actually the one that says they thought the fight was stopped early by the refs, but it wasn't like a total TKO. Did you see that? Because it looked like it was fine to me.
Oh, it was absolutely a TKO.
Yeah.
It was absolutely 100%. He was going to have brain damage if they let it go.
Yeah. Don't forget, this is also ESPN who fired like half their staff, and they're barely able to report sports now. So now they're going to this.
ESPN fired half their staff, and now they ask independent people with video on Twitter if they can use their independent video for ESPN.
ESPN, you can't use our video.
Nope. Suck our dick.
Whoa, wait. It's not that kind of web show. I didn't sign up for that. That's your XTube show. Never mind. Do you want to, anyway, our live viewers, we want to invite you to comment in on this, by the way. What do you think about the fight? Let's take a few of them now because we've got a lot of good ones. Grove Street Gal wrote in, she says, only if they make out, at least in MMA, there is all that hugging. Oh, another one is taking it to the sexual level.
Yeah, MMA is a lot of dudes rolling around on the ground, embracing. That's not... I like it because it's a joke and it's funny, but...
Yeah.
Dude, the fight was actually really good. This wasn't your typical Mayweather. McGregor really, really impressed for what he did as an MMA fighter stepping into the ring for his first fight. Mm-hmm. The thing is, he had a reach advantage, he had a size advantage, but he's also fighting the best boxer ever, pound for pound, 49-0. And even though that dude's 40 and one's 29, the variables kind of evened out a little bit to make it more of an even fight than normal. Even though the variables weren't quite straight up apples to oranges, a lot of them did kind of make it a fairer fight than you would think. Mayweather won as expected, and it was basically about what you thought he was going to do. He wore down McGregor a lot. Mm-hmm. He waited. The first couple rounds, McGregor landed some shots. He was really impressive. He got under Floyd. He got under the hands, which is something you don't see too much especially out of a defensive boxer. But Floyd was just like, as my coworker today was saying, he was downloading him. He was downloading him for 3 rounds, and he wore him out because in the MMA, he's not lasting as long as Floyd is in boxing.
A friend of mine is trying to chime in live on Alexa right now. That's what that is in the background, and I don't know how to get that message. We'll do that after the show. It's my friend Simon from Atlantic City. That's pretty cool. All right, I'm going to ask you this question, though. What did you think about the hype? Was it all too much hype or not?
No. Nah, dude. Floyd made $100 million guaranteed. He's probably going to make about $300 to $400 million just on pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. Conor, this is the biggest payday he's ever gotten. So they both won. If you really look at it, it's a win-win situation. Floyd just extended his bankroll way further. Mm-hmm. Conor's made way more on this fight than he's made on UFC combined. And it was a good fight for the fan. and it was a crossover, so it's something that's been unprecedented.
I gotta tell you this though, like the big Pacquiao fight that happened before, that's where it lost me. Like the hype was all there, and like bars and stuff were charging like big cover charges around here and in Vegas to go see it, and the damn thing was over in like what, not even 2 rounds. Like that one didn't feel like you got your money's worth. But this one, I think the hype made up for it, and you got 10 rounds. And as Mr. Burns used to say in The Simpsons, by the way, if a fight didn't last 10 rounds, he'd demand his nickel back. Mr. Burns.
First of all, I'll make this quick, but that fight lasted all 12. Floyd won by decision, not by knockout. It didn't last 2 rounds. It lasted 12. And that was a far more defensive fight. And people are mad about Floyd, quote-unquote, dancing around everything.
Your signal's breaking up once again pretty good there. So let's go to another viewer question. Tom says, I'd rather see Brock Lesnar versus Hulk Hogan. Oh, he's throwing in the WWE aspect of it now. All right, not the same thing at all. Ryan chimed in. He says, haven't been interested in boxing since Don King ruined it. Don King, that guy could sell anything on pay-per-view. $49.95 only on pay-per-view. Don King. Remember Don King?
Not really.
He was more so like bigger in the 80s. Like he would always get he was on The Simpsons too, and he was the one getting like the big bouts and titles set up. Like he could literally sell a fist fight in a street alley, and like people would buy it for like $49.95 on pay-per-view. So that was like the big joke all the time. But we put out a survey, because you see already answers that people were saying. We put out a survey, so I asked the question, are you going to watch the fight? And this is kind of crazy, Joel. 60% of the people said, no, they're not watching the fight. 40% said, yeah, I'm watching it. Judging by the comments we got, I believe
Dude, it's not that crazy. Most of your followers are out of touch.
Oh, some of those were your followers too. Let's go to our final comments. We got one more, and Dave writes in, and he says, the only boxing I care about is that guy who can fold pizza boxes mega fast. Oh, God, Joel, I think you just proved my point. Or your point. We want to thank our live viewers, by the way, for joining us. And, hey, if you're on the internet on Thursday, don't miss Kicking Back Jersey Joe, because this week you wrote the comedy. We're playing Captionist. That's right. From a hot girl modeling on a beach to fun with a bullhorn, you wrote the comedy. That's Thursday at noon on Kicking Back Jersey Joe.
Good.
Give me a like or a subscribe for that. It is a good time. And finally, you'll see that one thing you want to do before we close up the show, Joe, if don't break up on me here. You're both wearing our Houston shirts because we're wishing good vibes and shout-outs down there to everybody in Texas, Louisiana. It's flooding pretty bad. Joel's got his Rocket hat on. Oh, and by the way, your Rocket shirt that you caught at the game, clutched through that at you.
Right.
Which was
Yes, sir.
Yeah, pretty cool. And I've got my UFO flying saucer beer nerd from Houston. It was you bought me the shirt, by the way. And it was an awesome place in downtown, and we're hoping that they are well also, because the situation's a little rough down there. And one thing I'm going to say, Joel, is a guy that went through Hurricane Superstorm Sandy here, you don't want to wish that type of disaster on your worst enemy. It's rough. So you want to give good props to everybody down there, hopefully, right?
Thoughts, prayers, dollars with Houston. It's a very, very humble, it's a very, very polite town.
Yeah.
And we just hope that everybody gets out of there safe.
Yeah.
That's mainly it.
Yeah, you and I were down there in December. We had a great time. The city was awesome to us, so we definitely want to give our best to all of them down there. But let's not end this show on a low note. Let's end on a high note. Joel, why don't you go ahead and sing? Oh, no, I'm kidding. We're out of time. Plus, you're breaking up anyhow. It's great with you. Jersey Joe here. Eye on the box over there. Thanks for watching.
America!
Let's see you next time.
Patrick.
I hope.